Yeah, so I want to make some comments about the Kundalini process based on some comments that I have received recently and over the years about the Kundalini process, or just people sharing their Kundalini experiences. Um, the the comment I get most often, or I hear, is, what can I do to help the process? And really, there's only one answer. Or people will say, "Yeah, Kundalini's working in my heart," she's working at my brow, or she's working in my solar plexus, or whatever. Um, or she has risen at my heart. Well, we don't. First of all, she's very mysterious, and where you think she is, she may not be. But of course, follow your own intuition. But from my own experience, you could never quite tell where she's, when you say where she's at, where her base, where her home is, what apartment she's living uh, in your Kundalini process. Now, what do I want to say? So people ask, okay, so how do I get? First of all, people have the impression that Kundalini rises and goes through each chakra, clears each chakra in a sequential pattern, and that's how she rises. And that's not the case at all. It is only the case in one very rare um, Kundalini process where she goes step by step. And that step by step process takes each nadi center or chakra, and this is a very, very intense, physically year process, and each chakra and the entire subtle body and value of that chakra is being reworked, like physically reworked. It's very, very demanding and difficult. You can't even function in life. This is very rare. This is for people like um, uh, the guru of the lineage that I'm uh, related to. That was his process, and I don't think he could function for over a year because it was very physical. That kind of rising is meant for the really, the people that were meant for enlightenment and never coming back after reaching enlightenment, very high level masters. Anyway, what is my point? My point is that's not how Kundalini works. And what I want to say is what, and these are just my intuitive impressions. I could be completely wrong. Of course, to think that, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm always nervous kind of saying what I feel like is going on, because I never want anyone to think that I think I know what I'm talking about, or I have the final information. I do not, but this is what I'm intuitively getting from the Oracle, is that what's happening on the planet right now. I mean, obviously we're having a spiritual awakening, consciousness is waking up, and we're having all these people popping at all different levels of the journey, whether it be a new person just like waking up to, oh my God, we're more than just our bodies, to people who are popping and having uh, becoming enlightened at a certain level, right? And each one of these pops affects everybody else, particularly people who are in Kundalini process. A person who's had a release or an activation will pop a couple of people over here. People who have a completed process, or each time Kundalini rises and gets higher and higher, pops more people. Anyway, so what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing is that what's happening to most people on the planet right now, the great majority of people who are having Kundalini experiences or symptoms, is that they are experiencing partial risings. Now, what does that mean? It means somehow Kundalini has been activated in them and sort of like really awakened, but she hasn't fully been released from her base apartment. meaning the base chakra. She lives in this little apartment coiled up in the root chakra, and something happened in their life, whether it's, through a trauma, people starting on the spiritual journey, doing exercises. Yeah, traumas can shock the Kundalini life force into waking up very fully, or doing like, ayahuasca, something, anything can activate, and it can activate from the bottom up, or you can have an activation coming what feels like from the top down. This is the crow in the background. I have to close the door. This is an activation or a like awakening of Kundalini from her slumber. She's always awake, right? Kundalini's always awake because she gives you consciousness. I mean, Kundalini is you. She is your consciousness. And she's always got one eye open, basically. It keeps you alive, aware. She's your life force, right? At least you know that you exist. Yeah. But a shock or a trauma or an activation or some kind of practice can stir her. And now she's got both eyes open, and maybe like she's beginning to stir, but she's still coiled up. I know I'm like making this sound ridiculous. And she's been able, a partial rising means she's been stirred and awakened just enough for her to rise up, hit some points. Most usually it is the chakra, the heart chakra area, and come back down. And then she'll pop up again. But her base camp is still resting in the root chakra, or sometimes she gets a full release, not a full release, but she gets shocked out of her base camp. But now she's not quite past, there's a cap. Is there a cap? Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. The crow's in the background. Anyway, or she can be resting, her new apartment is just on the terrace of the root chakra, but she's still down here. And yeah, as she's moving up and down, it's an unstable partial rising. She is hitting all of these chakras, but really what she's doing, she's activating. We're not really concerned about the chakras. We're not really concerned, but what she does is she activates what happens. What gets activated first is usually anxiety and fear and this feeling of ungroundedness, because suddenly your consciousness is going boop, 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 and you feel ungrounded, and it gives you anxiety because you're not used to this level of awareness or consciousness or expansion of your consciousness. And then it goes back down, and then it goes out and it goes back down. So this is what Kundalini is doing, I think, in most, like a lot of people right now. They're having partial unstable risings. It's really a good thing. And it's bringing up a lot of stuff. Now, you don't have to worry about or try to figure out what chakra she's working on, because she's kind of working on everything in that zone all at once. If she is still in your base, her base camp is down here, and she's going in between heart and base, she's hitting all of those all at once. So there's nothing, don't try to figure it out. Okay. You'll know when there's a cap at the heart level that needs to be broken on most risings. If you're through the central channel, and you'll know when she rises to the throat chakra. Okay. But she could even do a little excursion and come back down too. We don't know. So it can all get activated all at once. So we never know what area she's really in. She's not really working on one thing at one time. It's everything that's being activated. Remember, it's all these prana bodies, or actually just say subtle body, your entire subtle body with all these energy channels are being hit with the Kundalini energy, right? And so it's sparking all these things in your life from childhood, from past lives, that are coming up to be healed. So what is the first thing that you need? I would recommend doing. Like there's not much you can do but trust the process. Of course, what everyone's going to say is you have to surrender. Now, what does surrender mean? It means just don't resist it. Don't try to figure it out. And certainly if you're having a, like energy movement or fear comes up, the surrendering means do your best not to hold tight and resist what's coming up. Like, oh, no, you have like try to consciously allow the fear and the anxiety to like eat you alive, like let it absorb into you. You're going to become one with that. That's surrendering. But surrendering also means just relax. Just relax and have trust. Let go of trying to hold this physical body together. You'll know what I mean. And definitely do your spiritual practice, which if you're in a Kundalini process, the best process, unless particular breathing exercises are recommended or mudra or something, is just to, close your eyes, get your breathing down, relax, and let go, and just, say, I open myself to the influence of Kundalini, whatever, it doesn't even matter. It's to let go and trust that, let the universe meditate you rather than you trying to meditate, you trying to stop your thoughts. Just, focus at your third eye and just relax, or don't focus anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's kind of surrender. And the surrender is just trust the process. Trust your own guidance. I mean, don't listen to me at all. Well, maybe some, just a little bit. So that's a little bit surrendering. Just trust that Kundalini is doing everything for your benefit because she is you, and you and she are one with the Divine Mother, Holy Spirit, Kundalini Shakti, right? Yeah, the Holy Spirit. Anyway, what was my next thought? My next thought, so some spiritual practice, these are things you could do, surrender. And definitely, this is where I think the quote unquote systems out there are very helpful. So Kundalini's, you've got Kundalini going, doesn't matter what your process is, and shit's coming up, right? Oh my gosh, I have fear. Why do I have anxiety? Why does one person feel despair? And now's the time she's asking you, it's time for you to focus on the psyche of the human being. Let's look at our fears, our resistances, our false beliefs. So this is where working with just the regular psyche of the human being, the ego aspect, is important. Work with the gene keys, or what a human design. I definitely recommend gene keys because it really gets to the point of your fears, and it gives you the opportunity to be able to look at the structure of this character, this persona that you're taking on, and start becoming aware of the programs that it has taken on and its resistances and its habits. This is what Kundalini wants you to do. It wants you to start letting go and burning away and releasing and becoming aware of all of the separation programs that are keeping you and her separate, right? Through your resistance to life. So that's second thing, right? So maintain a spiritual surrendering type practice. Don't try to figure out where she's at. Please don't tell her what to do. She knows what to do. Please develop a relationship with her, right? You're the same. And treat her as your mother, the Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit. You talk to her, she will answer you. Yeah. And then begin working on your own psyche, whatever system you're drawn to. And I think there was a third point, but I hope it comes to me quickly. Maybe that's it. Yeah, and do that. And the whole point of working with some of these systems is during this process, of course, if you're in a Kundalini process, you're already aware how crazy the mind can get. And it's a great tool to work with these systems to give the mind something to look at, to distract the mind. So to give the mind, the ego, something to work on. Oh, okay, I'm going to work on myself. Maybe I won't get destroyed in the process, right? Because what's happening is your mind is recognizing Kundalini and it's fighting back. Like I said in the other video, it's trying to survive because it can feel it's like, uh-oh, I'm going to be out of here if she continues with this Kundalini process. So you give the mind something to work on and it goes, oh, I can better myself and maybe I can be a better person and then I won't get killed off. Yeah. And what ends up happening as you're working with these systems, the mind actually will relax and it starts seeing the benefit of its own demise and it starts letting go because it can see how its ways of doing things and believing things is not working, that it creates more pain and suffering, and it will begin to relax. So you have to play a little game with the mind, distract it and let it, take it from the dark side of things, and then eventually it will see the light and it will release just very gently, step by step on its own. So I think that might be the last point. Of course, do your best to, just take care of yourself and don't stress yourself. A Kundalini process, no matter what degree of process you're in, is a truly blessed event, and you're very needed on this planet, and you actually don't have to do anything. If Kundalini is working in you and is rising up and poking, bringing up fears and traumas, this is so good because it's really not about you. It's about the whole, and it's your opportunity to heal the whole. Yeah. By working on becoming aware of the programs that we've all taken on and conditioned us into feeling like we're just worthless cows, plodding along, and that, yeah. So there you go. I think that's enough. Yeah. And I think that's it. Okay. Until next time. Bye.